right, getting set up for the NBGM draft, the NBA pro equivalent of the CBGM. What are all these acronyms? College Basketball General Manager League at GM Games, running off Draft Day Sports, College Basketball 23 into Pro 23. This is the league link configuration and allowing our college players to go pro in an observation league. I'm going to just put out the broadcast now that we're doing this, and we'll get started pretty soon. While we wait, you're looking at the magazine screen, and we'll get into a bit of the mock draft in a sec before we get started here, so just stay tuned. We'll be underway shortly. I want to make sure that the right outlets get this information. And at the moment, we are doing up Wolverine Studios Discord channel, Slack channels, and of course, this is the Pro Basketball 23. So we're doing it live, so this will be all right. If anyone wants to check this one out. Hopefully there's some people from the chat that want to see this. So anyways, let's get through the rookie guide. We just got one more place to broadcast this going live. What was previously known as Twitter. And we're almost underway here. All right, let's just, okay, so let's take a look, the rookie guide. So this season, the winner, the champion is Cards 1125. So that's Louisville, and there's a couple players from Louisville named Will Fork and Ramey who have both played really well to win the championship and were great prospects along the way. So first of all, that was the mock, but let's go through the positions. At point guard, you're going to see Ramey there, Ramey, I believe. And then Jarmond from Notre Dame is there. You got Oregon's Traore, Gerald Bills, so Spider's looking to see where his guy's going to go. You'll see that at the moment, Gerald Bills is projected as the fourth best point guard. So that is interesting, of course. And Weathers from Kansas. All right, so shooting guards, Steve Green, amazing player, had a great year. Eric Cooper is one of my guys. And then you got Kyle Moore here with Kid Coffee Black. You got Justice Sample with Collier. Stromile Man looks to be a G League player. This guy was the Indy MVP. That's known as the best camp in college basketball 23, the game. By camp, it's the recruiting camp for college. Kurt Silla got really close to getting his team pretty deep into the tourney, but unfortunately was stopped out by Louisville and Cards winning his first championship. Interesting else of note, Bubba's got Tyson Spink here. Chris Miles, he's a guy that was low SAT, came to Coppin State. And as we go around the horn, we see Waldman's another Coppin State player of mine. Hux is good. Ohio State was a good team. They had Dunlop as well, but didn't get it going. At center, Will Fork, who won the championship. Then you got Craig Akasem, VCU, Kelly Warren, who was a big prospect for Oregon and Graham. And then, of course, Oregon and Graham also had this guy. But the mock draft, we'll see if this is true. Kurt Silla to go number one to the Warriors, who won the lottery just a couple days ago. Steve Green from Ohio State's projected to go to the Bucks. You got G League, this Gervin guy, he must be pretty good. Abrams from Maryland and Will Fork going at the top five. And there are other players of mention. It'll be interesting to see if they get drafted tonight. Those particular players happen to be some seniors. Bissett, all-time leading scorer, Canadian guy. He's not bad. Kwani Burks won the People's Choice Award as the best player, but best top scorer, Alabama center. And there's other good players in here, like Aquila Anderson. He's a decent guy from Old Dominion. And anyways, with that in mind, let's get this started. Don't want to be here all night. Second round's kind of long, so be important to get this one going. All right, Algalia is here. Sorry, I missed you, Breeze. I didn't see. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so basically the trade deadline has most of the trades in this league. There's, since this is pro game, free agency has a lot of movement going on, but most of the movement's around the deadline, and that's, you're looking at February for that. But in this case, there could be some trades in the draft. What am I saying? So you never know. Okay. So J.R. Ramey, everyone's getting hyped up here for the players. We'll see if Kurt Silla, Galia's here, see if he goes number one. A city cries out for a star. Well, the Warriors are looking to rebuild. Getting the logos here, Cavs, Bucks. Who's going to answer the call? And we call this the 34 draft only because the game started earlier for us, but 33 we're pretty far into this league. You're looking at almost 11 seasons or whatever. So here we go. Who will be number one in the draft? All right. At the bottom also, you're seeing the top 25 for the next season. Louisville's back on number one. You got UConn there, number two, which is interesting, and then Maryland. All right, let's start this draft. Warriors are on the clock at the moment. What do we have going on? With that in mind, we're going to get to the number one pick of the draft. And that number one pick is going to be J.R. Ramey. It beats out Colorado and Agalia. I didn't plan it like this, mate. Oh, God. Whatever. They got the champion Ramey going to Golden State. Top pick, beating out Kurt Silla of Colorado. But Silla would be interesting to go to the Bucks. And you basically need a new Giannis, a new stud-type player. And so in Milwaukee, Kurt Silla probably is projected here. Interesting, though, the top five never had Ramey. So the hype of the national championship. All right, here we go. Bucks, number two. Alex Gervin out of the G League. So this guy's one of the better players that come out of the G League because besides BJ Anderson, there hasn't been a lot of guys in this league who've been that good. Gradually coming up, but CBGM definitely has the All-Stars. All right, Pacers. Is Indiana going to be the team with Kurt Silla, home of Reggie Miller, home of Rick Smits, the Davis, Antonio Davis, Dale Davis. And we got Kurt Silla is going to the Pace from Colorado to Indiana and heart of middle of America somewhat. And he's not going to the Warriors. So he's the third pick and going to Indiana. Timberwolves are the champs, so it's getting annoying where I think some of these GMs are getting really better than others. So not only did they have Sykes win the championship, they're going to add a piece here with Steve Green. The dynasty might be starting for a while in Minnesota, or Wilfork. Both great players. Steve Green is going to join Sykes on a championship team out of Ohio State, big-time player. And it's really going to add a piece that no one expected the T-Wolves to have. But they got a nice player there. All right, Bulls up 5th pick. Will Fork would be a good pick. They're going to take Neil Brown. So we got 2 G League players. Very generic name players. The last name Brown gets used in this game a lot. Especially, I extended the name database on college, but it's still small on pro. All right, Neil Brown. Okay, Suns up 6th pick. They're going to take Ben Jarman out of Notre Dame. So there you go, Gilia. You're going to get one of your guys in the draft going the Phoenix Suns. And the Pistons are up next, who were in the finals. The rich get richer. And the Pistons right now, Zion looks like he hasn't re-upped yet, but likely will. Holloway obviously is a great player for them. And they're going to take Will Fork out of Louisville. So the teams in the finals are getting even stronger. Will Fork and Steve Green, both really, really good players. And next up, we got Dallas, the new era without Luka. Luka moved on in the twilight of his career. Kurt Dawson out of Creighton runs the point. And we're looking now with this pick, Dunlop, so another Ohio State prospect. Just everyone to know there's going to be an ad coming in about a minute. So we'll just let that one run through. We'll make a pick and then let the ad break kind of progress. All right, Lakers are up 9th pick. And with this 9th pick, joining an aging Tyrese Halliburton, they're going to add Kyle Moore out of Maryland. So Kid Coffee Black gets a player drafted here. And we're almost out of the top 10 now. There's a lot of guys still available to be picked. And next up, Celtics will take, we're almost into the ad break, Jonathan Abrams. So another player from Maryland and Kid Coffee Black. Abrams got picked. And now we're out of the top 10. There's going to be an ad break coming, so I'm just going to let it sit for a little bit. All right, so we're back now. You had Maryland in. I think we were in the ad break there. That's what that was. Kyle Moore, Abrams. So we had Maryland. We had an Ohio pick, and the Grizz will take Kenny O's out of Nova. And Kenny O's is selected. At the 11th pick, we're continuing on with the Heat. They definitely need some help to keep things going for them. Pretty good squad. Fajardo, and McNeil out of Michigan State, who I don't know much about. This might be a stretch pick. Didn't have only 7 a game as a center. Didn't really win playing time, but as a prospect, they think he can be someone who's a good pro. And next up, for Charlotte, the Jordan-less Charlotte now. Well, Devon's a great player. He's out of Chuck's team, at OK State. Theo Maledon. This is a bunch of vets getting moved. Haylett Weathers out of Kansas. Going 13 is Zubnik. Nice one, Zubnik. And we're up at the Nets now. I'm not even sure what their roster is all about at all. They got an aging LaMelo, I think. Neil, not a lot of Tom Williams projection here. Ego would love that. Let's see what's up next. Tyson Spink, quick trade here. Cressy, Crawford, swap Magic and Nets. So Tyson Spink, Bubba's going to a Nets team that looks like they need the help. He hardly played 0.3 PPG. Oh my goodness. Must have had terrible rating. All right, next up to join Orville Schwartz, the defensive lockdown player. My Toronto Raptors will be taking Stromile Man out of the G League. Bit of an unknown commodity from our side, but the third G League player taken in the draft. And what's up next? Pacers, who took Kurt Silla earlier, are now going to have the chance to take another first-round pick. They're going to take Brandon Waldman out of Coppin State. So says he's a big dunking machine. And Brandon Waldman was a player of mine who started slow, was I believe I redshirted him, and gradually he became quite a good, decent player. Won the player of the conference a couple times. So good talent there. Going to the Pacers. JP Gorski saying this is exactly where he thought he'd be taken. All right, next up, Craig Kasem for And, well, those guys at Galia, those guys were 5-star players. Waldman and Miles. So 5-star pedigree, they're going to get taken probably first round. But weren't exactly studs. Johnny Ray, though, I just picked up at Coppin to replace Miles, so he might be quite nice. Because he's a 14 overall, but nothing like Miko Barrett. It was a 1 overall. That was just crazy. Okay. Eric Cooper still on the board. Tom Williams at point guard. The Magic are going to take Luke Martin out of Florida State. So just the sample gets the player taken here in the draft. Okay, next up, from the Blaze, big trade in real life, which this will age differently if anyone watches this video, but Damian Lillard was traded today in real life on this day, going to the Bucks. So the Blazers here, they're going to build a team around. Let's check this lineup up. They had a winning record. They have 2 picks in the first round. Portland's lineup, I think it rolls next. Okay, yeah, Marco Logan. Oh, that guy's really good. Out of Baylor. He's probably the 2 best players in the league now. Maybe Logan and Sykes. Next up, well, young players. Doug Ward, Texas A&M, going to the Blazers. A big that's going to help Marco Logan quite a bit. Watch out for those Blazers. This guy looks tripped out. All right, next up with the Jazz at the 20 pick. They're going to take Jamal Traore out of Oregon. So back-to-back players for Graham. And didn't play much, though, at Oregon. 2.2 points a game, so didn't do much. And OKC, built around now, what players? aging players, so they need some young guys. Collier out of Florida State, he's the one who's going to join OKC. Great length, good handler, it says here. And Spurs are up, and they have Twin Towers, but they split them off. So yeah, Khalid Jones, they need everyone else, but they have BJ Anderson off the bench. And next up, Eric Cooper out of Wichita State. So hopefully that deep drafting, he was he was just the best player Wichita State ever recruited. Got them to 3 Final Fours. Wasn't able to do much after in his senior year. They were kind of close, Elite 8. But that's it. Eric Cooper's a pro. He was a 5-star, so just an aging 5-star now. Next up for the Lakers, they go with Miles out of Coppin State. So this is what I was talking about. A 5-star. Miles, he's leaving a bit earlier than usual, so he's kind of young. I think he's leaving in his sophomore year. He didn't actually stay towards the end for where he was in the overall recruits. And next after that, we're going to get, for the Sixers, Kareem Penn. So, Galia, if you're here, Sons of Anarchy looking dude. He's taken by the Sixers. And so there's another first-round pick. And after that, we have with the Wiz, who are an aging Shai Gilgeous Alexander. They still got Tom Williams they could take. Good center here, Kelly Warren. Yeah, you just saw the Kareem Penn update, I see. Kelly Warren Graham, that's his 3rd player drafted in this round. Texas A&M being the other. And the Warriors get another first to join J.R. Ramey. Kelly Bryant. Sasa Rukavina used to be a 1st overall pick. Big time bust. Kenny Bryant from Nova is going to join the Warriors and add an important piece here. Right, so if anyone's reading the chat back on YouTube, you get a little history of Kareem Penn. Transferred over, did his thing, got drafted now. Nuggets, who have been perennial championship contenders with JoJo Crowell, one of the best players that have ever come out of CBGM and out of Syracuse. And next up for the Nug, they're going to need Matt Hux out of Kansas, who's a good player in a tough conference. 12 a game, 5-star recruit. And the Blazers are up next. To join Logan. Kenny Britt, I think is the guy's name. Anyways, their pick. Jace Hackett, who I have no idea about, out of Michigan State, but he does look like he had a strong season. 15 a game. That team's AI run at the moment, so they're definitely doing their own thing. Next up for the Spurs, they chose Leroy Okodi in this slot before. So let's see who they take now to join their other first rounder, Calvis Schilling. So there's a lot of players here from teams I didn't follow that well. Mich State, Florida State, Villanova. I mean, these are just the samples teams. There's actually humans behind them. But for whatever reason, these prospects are just, besides Sykes, haven't been that tuned into those teams. All right, Pistons, here we go. We're into the last pick of the first round for the team that lost in the final. And congrats, Michael Brown, going to Blazer Taz. So Blazers got a player taken here. He had 14 a game, a guard, first round. Looks like he had a good recruit. Next up, into the second round, we're going to keep this thing moving fast. Zach Leonard, Colorado. So there we go. Galia, you got another guy taken here. Joins Kurt Silla. Now, Colorado was in the finals before last year. And these guys were contributors along the way. All right, and we're up with another Warriors pick. So they're definitely rebuilding tonight. Kenny Mobley from Chuck and St. Mary's. So congrats to Chuck there with his pick. Next up we have with the Sixers. They're going to get some help from Oregon's Anton Traylor. Kelly Warren and Traylor from Oregon both taken tonight. And so congrats to Graham again on that pick. All right, Pelicans up next. Gary Gilbert. Now here's another team that just not paying attention to, like Michigan State. A 10-a-game center out of the ACC. Definitely the toughest conference in all of CBGM, the league. But here, this pick, Gary Gilbert, he's gone. Bucks are up. They had a top 5 pick. They had the second pick, I think. And so they're up, and they're going to take to join Mobley. Christensen out of Oregon. Mobley's out of Baylor, I believe. Or it might have been Dame. Okay, yeah. Ryan Griffith, San Diego State. So a guard here is going from TV Guy D. Just my Miami team? No. They're like recruits that are like 170, like 4-star, maybe 1 or 2. Some are 3-star out of like regional camps, top 10. So no, Miami's not. If anything, Coppin and Wichita State's getting worse prospects, but Miami and Coppin State's getting some of the better top 25 players that fall off. Okay, next up, OKC, Tom Williams, Aggo's favorite player here. Took LSU to the final. Interestingly enough, Tom Williams, I believe he's a transfer, so I haven't really looked up what team he was on before helping LSU get to the finals to play cards. So that was a huge accomplishment from AK777. Next up with the Wiz, they go with Rafit Raif. And this guy was a big transfer. I think he's the Turkish guy. Comes over to Syracuse, has a great career. And next up, the Sixers, they're going to take Ryan Hightower. I saw that. That's a kind of meaningless trade. Hightower, the distributor, longtime Notre Dame contributor, has probably a soft spot in Agalia's heart somewhere. Hightower, probably one of the all-time assist leaders, maybe within top 5, top 10, maybe I'd have to check that out. All right, the Lakers are up now, second round. Delvin Woods out of the G League is taken. And Lakers go with that potential versus maybe an aging CBGM senior, college senior. Maybe they're more suited for Europe. Celtics up next, 40th pick, Reggie Williams out of Texas. So Grant's got a player taken here in the second round, going to the Celtics. And that picks off the board now. We're into the Grizz at 41. They're going to take Matt McClendon. So Big Ev's got a player drafted in the second round. Some notable players yet not to be picked. Nathaniel Bissett, the all-time leading scorer out of the CBGM. Kwani Burks, the top scorer this season in all of CBGM, center out of Alabama A&M. They're still not picked. Pistons will go with Andre Roach out of St. Mary's. All right. Now we're up with the Hornets at 43. They're going to go with Perry Evans. So congrats again to Bubba. Gets another player drafted. He's in the second round. He's taken. All right, next up. Joining the Utah Jazz will be Mike West, G League player. Not much known about him. You can read his draft description here on the left. All right, the Raptors are up. Who's going to join their G League pick in Stromile Man? Chaz Bartley, Shaw on this team. They take Byron Broussard, another player with Grant. Oh no, that might be Gabe. Gabe the Whale gets a player taken. Byron Broussard's going to the Raptors center in the second round. Definitely looks like a quality player though. 16 a game in the Big East. All right, next up for the Kings, David Wallace out of UConn. So Kev has got a player taken now. And what's up next? We got the Hawks up, Trae Young. What a career he's had. Richard Richardson. Robert Samuel. This is an ex-champ out of Memphis. I think he was even one of the MVPs. But Richard Richardson, so UConn's up again. And UConn takes player, the Hawks take a player from UConn. And next up, we're looking at with the Nets, Rafael Paulo Freitas out of Cuse. So I'm not sure if he was Brazilian or Portuguese. I think he would have to be Brazilian in this case. He's drafted in the second round. And next up are the Bulls. So Coolest Jedi's team. He's going to go with, from CBGM, Merv Gill. So Josh has got a player taken here. Josh's Virginia Alumni are going to the Bulls here, is going. All right, next up with the Jazz, we got Su Xuan Yip out of China. This is the first time I've actually seen this happen. So this is not a player from CBGM. This is a direct international of enough quality to make the draft, beat out CBGM and some G League guys. So interesting. We'll have to watch that guy's career. Yip goes to the Jazz. And next up we have Marquez Johnson out of the Zags. 10 a game. So that's Slick Rick. He's got a guy taken in the second round of the draft. Still no Bissett. Still no Burks taken. And we're getting into the last 8 picks. Spurs will take Darius Anderson. So this guy is good. This is a really good player, I think, for a late pick. Definitely had a great career. Look at this. Almost 20 a game out of the Big Ten. 6 rebounds. Almost 2 blocks. I didn't even realize this guy was in the draft. So that could be a real good pick. All right, Lakers up next. Jeff Sanders out of Xavier. Okay, and Xavier gets a player taken. Kind of a team that's fallen off a little bit out of the Big East. I don't hear much from them. All right, we're into the last few picks. Will Bissett get taken? Will Burks get taken? Brad Brown goes instead. There's Aquill Anderson is still in this draft. There's I'm trying to think of the other names. But the top scorer of all time has not been drafted, and the top scorer in CBGM this season has not been taken. All right, 5 picks to go to decide this. The Wizard go Yante Buckmaster out of Mini. And so Mini gets another, Kev BK gets another player drafted, even before Bissett, even before that kind of talent. So potential is definitely what's being looked for here. Bucks are up next. They're going to add Marshad Taylor. A couple of deals. Turner, sorry. There's Marshad. So this is one of Spider's favorite players. 18 a game. Got Purdue as far as they could go. So here, this guy was a big name too. He's sitting around here this late in the draft. And next up, we got Whittle Braun out of West Virginia. 10 a game center. With the stash going on here. Not much time left for Burks or Bissett. 3 picks. Will they go? Stack out there. Oh, I take it back. So there you go. Ideally, if you're still watching this, there's a Miami player. This guy could not shoot. Good passer, good distribution, 6 assists, 7 assists about a season. This guy is a terrible shooter. Taken before Bissett and Burks. Feel bad for that. Next up, Carlisle out of Michigan State. We have 1 pick to go to see whether or not. Now, these players don't always get signed, so it doesn't really mean something in the second round. But if a player's going to hang around the G League, they need to get signed by a team. Maybe they'll be on a summer league team. And the last pick of the draft will be Nick Trotman out of Maryland. So Bissett and Burks do not get drafted tonight. Will they, as undrafted players with such storied college basketball careers be able to turn this situation into a pro career. It's going to be interesting to tell. Hopefully they're in the database. Don't want to see them drop off that quickly. But anyways, thanks to anyone who came to this draft and watched it with us. Be sure to put the link here for CBGM. And thanks again for coming up. Take care.